nightmare.
Hello and welcome to Cinema Subculture, the podcast where we discuss everything strange, obscure, and downright messed up in the world of movies. My name's Gary.
And I'm Simon. So, welcome to episode 30. Today, we are going to be discussing Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem. So, Gary, tell me what you know about Rob Zombie.
Not very much.
No?
Not seen any of his movies before this.
Mhm.
Seen parts of Halloween. I know. I didn't know he was a musician before
Sure.
he was a filmmaker. I know he's made a number of films: House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween 2.
Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
When did I guess, first time I properly knew him music wise, do you remember a film called Idle Hands?
Right, never seen it.
Devon Sawa and Seth Green and things like that. Anyway, there's a bit in it where music comes on TV and it's Dragula, the song, which is a song that's kind of an ode to, remember, what was it called, Wacky Races?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, they kind of, one of their cars was the kind of Adams Family esque
Right.
people had, and it was the Dragula, I think it was the name of the car. Anyway, that's how I first got to know his music. Anyway, and I never really wasn't really that into it or anything like that until one of my friends had like one of the greatest hits CDs. We just fired it on, and it's not nothing's going to change the world,
Yeah.
but it's kind of fun, and it was kind of some of the references in it are to old horror films and kind of like kind of like Mannix esque. Like clips from movies at the beginnings and the ends of films or during the middle of films, things like that. So it definitely appealed to me. I never saw House of a Thousand Corpses too much later. I don't know if you like it or not. I mean, it's a kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 esque
Okay.
film, but it's got a lot of odes to the kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well. Devil's Rejects is a bit more like serious, closer to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, closer than House. I really enjoyed his Halloween. When I first saw it, I mean, I'm a big Halloween fan. I did quite like his remake. I mean, a lot of people really don't like it, and that's probably sacrilege to a lot of Halloween fans. But I did enjoy it. His Halloween 2 I wasn't keen on. I still haven't watched the director's cut. Apparently, I've heard recently that they had a lot of problems with the studio on the first one and second one. Didn't get to make a lot of choices on it, which you can imagine with a bit of kind of high profile remake like Halloween. But to not have a lot of choices, the cut that was released of Halloween 2, certainly, I don't know, it didn't feel like Halloween to me. As I haven't seen the director's cut to comment on that. And then we have Lords of Salem. I think that's his movies. He did like an animated feature. He directed Werewolf Women of the SS, the trailer, and one of the Grindhouse films. So apparently this is his first film that he's had kind of complete control over. So, what did you think?
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on it.
No.
I did find it a bit of a slog to get through. Didn't really like characters. Thought dialogue was kind of poor. Thought it had a lot of derivative elements from other movies.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely something that's present in his. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut in. I feel that where it works really in the film's favours for me in House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, it doesn't work quite as well here.
Okay.
Because it works there because it's kind of nostalgia and you're kind of getting a similar feeling to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and kind of like CD kind of like crazy films like that of that time, like 70s and 80s like films. Whereas this, it feels like he's channeling like Kubrick or trying to channel Kubrick and that ilk. Maybe some like Rosemary's Baby and Suspiria and things like that. And I don't know if it works as well with those films because they are very specific. You know.
It has a kind of vacant quality for me. I didn't feel like there was any kind of sincere expression
Mm-hmm.
of he felt like he didn't really have anything to say. It was like as if he kind of wanted to make like a Kubrick style film, but not everyone can do that. Because I felt a lot of the surreal imagery. I usually like stuff like that in films, but it felt like it's like this kind of the Psycho remake in a way. It's like if you study a film and you do it rebuild it exactly the same, it's still it's missing that kind of thing that's between the lines, like between the cuts, that makes it something great, like a Psycho or a The Shining. And you can reconstruct it, but it's not possible sometimes to create the same magic. That's what I felt with this. It was like something like The Shining or like a David Lynch film, but it didn't have that kind of.
No, I know what you
Don't want
mean.
to use
Yeah,
the term X factor, but I keep going there. That
you think
pinpoint
that
that's
maybe that feeling comes from the fact that it is kind of derivative. You know what I mean? It is imagery that we've seen similar to before. Whereas when these directors did it for the first time, it was kind of new and it's very much of them. You know what I mean? Like if you know, the originality isn't there necessarily. Is that what the factor is?
there's lots of films that use that kind of dream imagery and stuff, but in this, I didn't really feel it was adding up to much. I didn't get the thematic underpinning to it. I just felt it was like he wanted to be a David Lynch, but some people have got it, some people don't. And he's maybe like, see, it's difficult for me to really comment because I haven't seen any of his other movies, but some directors can do that. Some directors are just meant for more nuts and bolts style, which maybe he is. Because it's not that this film's totally horrible, because I think he has got a good, has got skill for a nicely composed image, and the film looks quite nice. But I just feel like it did have that kind of emptiness, that it wasn't really amounting to much. It was aspiring to something, but not really getting there.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the trailer for this, I was really quite excited about this because it did look like a kind of like Lynchian Kubrick style, thing. Maybe some inspiration from Argento, style wise, anyway, and with the kind of witch stuff as well. And the first time I watched it, I did feel that kind of empty. Like I wasn't sure what I didn't get from it what I felt I was gonna get from it. Maybe I was overhyped myself, just excited. I wanted to see it. I thought it was gonna be something completely different for him, which it is. It is completely different from his other stuff. Um, so I don't know if that, but I mean, I watched it again for the podcast, and I didn't feel it was a slog. I quite enjoyed it. There are some hokey performances in it, sure. I don't know. There's something endearing with it to me. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it is just because it's seen someone go outside of their comfort zone, or from what they've done before, and because I have enjoyed his previous work, maybe I'm a little biased. But I mean, that didn't save Halloween 2 for me, so I don't see why that this should.
Right.
Um, I mean, certainly there are elements from Halloween 2 that seem to be similar to this. I mean, and there's talk about this being like a kind of feeling like a spiritual kind of sequel to or a prequel to that. Felt like kind of in tone and stuff, and I can kind of see that. But I don't know. It was something that just carried me along with it. I can't describe it. I really liked the sound design, the music. I thought the Lord's theme was really quite engrossing. And I quite liked the kind of switching back and forth to the witch setting, and the actual climax of the film. I thought was quite dramatic. The way it built up it to like, and then like the imagery in that end when it's like her psyche almost breaking down. Um, I don't agree necessarily with everything that got us there. There was some scenes that were, to his own admission, I think like were cut short because of time constraints and location, things like that. That they had just made do with. I mean, you can't really make that excuse for him. But I don't know. Definitely second time watching this, I was more prepared for what I was getting. So I enjoyed it. Like it wasn't what I initially thought. The first time I watched it wasn't initially what I thought I was going to get. But knowing what I was going to get when I watched the second time, I definitely appreciated it more. I don't know. I mean, his wife stars in it, Sherman Zombie. She's been criticised for this and other performances, but I don't know. I don't feel she's that bad in this. Right. I've never felt she was bad. In Halloween the remake, I thought she was quite believable. That was the first Rob Zombie film I think I'd seen at that point. I thought she was quite believable as what's it? Can't remember his mother's name, but Mrs. Myers, right? I can't remember her name. That's terrible. I thought she was quite believable and quite tragic in that character. In House of Thousand Corpses, she's quite cartoony. Similar character in Devil's Rejects. It is the same character. It's just a little more grounded. She didn't have much to play with in Halloween 2. She's essentially playing the ghost of the mother. But I don't know. In this, I thought she felt like the character. You know, I didn't feel. I felt that that's the way the character should be. His characters are sometimes kind of like that. You know, they have this kind of like zaniness to them. Which again I think accounts for my acceptance of the dialogue because I've seen what has come before. Right. It does. The characters do feel similar to those other films in that their kind of outlook on the world. Right. You know, and the kind of like rednecky kind of, especially in those first two films, and I feel that carries on to this. And that's kind of aesthetic. Maybe that's what it is. It's like a redneck Kubrick kind of style is what's happening. Maybe I don't know. I can't explain it. All I know is that I quite enjoyed this film the second time around. First time it was not what I was looking for necessarily, but
yeah, I don't know. I had a bit of problem with this is a wee bit nitpicky, but the radio, the DJs and the style of show they do, they're meant to be those kind of crazy DJs, but it feels like the way they interview the guy as if they're kind of mocking him, but it's meant to be like it's like a metal style show or something, or more like alternative.
I think it's just it's kind of a parody on the shock jock. Right. That's what I think it's meant to be. Right. It's kind of like they think they're really shocking.
Though, so it's like it's a show that's quite alternative.
I think they play anything. I mean, she plays what is it? She plays at the beginning. It's like Lady's Choice. Rush. Yeah. I mean, he says in the commentary, I think that he heard once that no girls there's no female Rush fans, so he thought he wanted Heidi to be a Rush fan. I think he said he'd been listening to watch the documentary that morning before they shot the scene, and he thought that'd be kind of funny. So I don't know. I think that it's a parody on the shock jock. They think they're more shocking and witty than they are, because I mean they're essentially like a small town radio station. It's not like a national radio station. I think they're trying to be the kind of Howard Stern-esque thing. But I don't have a problem. I don't know. I think again it's like what I find with his music. It's not really changing my world, but I find it kind of fun. And this film wasn't as fun to me as his first couple of films, but I don't know. I still found it interesting enough for me to go along with. I don't like apologising for liking a film, and so I don't want to do that at all. So I'm not, cause I tend to do that sometimes, but no, I enjoy him as a director. As I said, there's only been one film that I've really thought that I didn't fit with me. But no, what didn't change my world. It wasn't as fun to me as his first couple of films, but it definitely had something for me that kept me watching. Maybe it's just him as a person as well. Yeah, I find him quite interesting. So
I was going for a kind of, you weren't really sure what was really happening. But I thought maybe it did use that trick a wee bit too much, where every time something crazy happened, Heidi would wake up.
Mm,
Is that true?
I didn't notice that necessarily. I took it in, I tried to take it on face value, much like when we watched the Inland Empire. You know, like everything that's happening is happening
Mm,
as much as I could.
right.
You know, and I just took the wake ups as that was the morning after, or like,
Oh, right.
or
Probably
you
the
know,
church thing, because that didn't.
that was only sorry, that was only seen. Yeah, that definitely seemed to be like there was something not quite right there. That was only scene that I thought.
Did she not wake up just after that? There's the scene where I don't know the character's name. The other DJ,
Uh huh. Yep.
he's at a apartment,
Sure.
and some ghosts or something turn up and tap him on the shoulder, and he dies and he falls over. Something like
Um. Okay, that's when like because she passes out at that point, and that he's going to call the ambulance.
that. Ah, yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't. I never noticed it myself that you know I just took whatever was happening
Okay.
to her perception because she's it's effectively like this witch pushing her way into the world through Heidi, um, and bringing with her the kind of like the demons or whatever are with her. Um, hmm, I don't know. I never noticed it too much, to be honest. But you could be right. I mean, there probably are. It probably could seem like that.
Right.
You weren't a fan of the three kind of modern day witches.
I thought those actors were going way over the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I thought they were fun. I thought there was something interesting about them to me. Again, they were definitely over the top and cartoonish. But again, that's him. That's just the way I think he has his characters. It's there's something like Dee Wallace, well, the mother from E.T. She played the mum in E.T. Like she plays a kind of eccentric, kind of naive, kind of woman. Like, you know, she's kind of the kind of childlike one at first.
Right.
She becomes the more sinister one later on. But I don't know, I quite like the interaction with them. They were weird and just kind of like what's you didn't know what they were wanting or whether they were trying to hurt Heidi or they were for her. I mean, they seemed to be protecting her essentially, but you weren't really sure. I mean, there was also the issue of like Heidi had been like a drug user, um, and whatever was happening to her was causing her to like, fall off the wagon as
Yeah.
well. I don't feel that was very fully explored. Obviously, that was given as a kind of what her colleagues thought was happening to her when she was being kind of like tormented by these witches, effectively. I mean, he's quoted in an interview as saying that he did want to like he was trying to evoke something that he felt when he was watching Kubrick. He wanted to make the audience feel as if they were experiencing what the characters were experiencing.
Yeah.
I don't feel he's fully accomplished that really, but I don't know. Like there are certain elements that I feel that it's you're like the to me the finale because the climax when it is kind of going through like kind of stuff that's happened, kind of perverse versions of what's happened through the film.
Mm.
It's kind of like going through our mind as it's supposed to be breaking down. Um, I don't feel like he perfectly captures that at all, but there are like, elements there for me, like, of experiencing what the characters. We stay with Heidi pretty much, and we kind of do go down. The crazier what we see is getting the worse off she becomes. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
No, there is some kind of cool images. I quite like the one she's in the bathroom or something, and then there's a painting in the wall that starts
Mm.
bleeding, crying blood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that image is from? Is it a movie or something? It looks familiar, but
I thought it was actually from this.
what's that?
Those images were from this film. Like,
It's like a guy with a balaclava and a gun.
oh right.
That's the one I was talking about.
Mm. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure. It's not throwing anything up. I can find the picture,
Right.
but I don't really know if it's from anything or not. What's it there? The image isn't it on yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But
just because the one over our bed is like Trip to the Moon.
sure.
Moon face.
Moon face. There was some comment about the decoration of our like our room, our apartment, being very abstract. Right. She seems to be quite an organised person because of maybe like coming off the drug usage and things like that. Whereas the decoration of our apartment seems to more reflect the kind of like when you get to the end. There's a lot of scenes with that, or the artwork, the stuff from a room, like in the kind of scenes of kind of like weird imagery, her and the goat and things like that. These things are still, you see her bed and the poster's still behind it and stuff like that, but it's in the middle of that large theatre and stuff. So I think it was just to kind of, I guess, to kind of thematically show that her mind already in this kind of turmoil and kind of her trying to stay out with that inner kind of organised bubble and not fall off the wagon. But yeah.
I was just going to ask you how you shot it. Was it shot in film or?
It was where they shot Halloween on 35, but then for some reason they shot Halloween 2 on 16. I think he said that like it just had too clean a look. Halloween. No, shot digitally. Right, okay.
I wonder if he made it look kind of grainy.
He says, somebody had asked him, he says, was Lords of Salem shot in film? And he says, no, it was digital, the whole movie. They spend so much time with digital trying to make it look good, and I spend so much time later trying to make it look bad. He says, I wish it actually looked crappier. The only reason I didn't shoot in film was I knew that the schedule was so tight and we weren't going to have the time to light it properly. Right. And you can move faster with video, obviously. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about this film. I mean, I completely understand your arguments on it, and I agree with them to an extent. I mean, I'm not disagreeing at all with them, but I still like the film. So it's not my favourite of his films, but I like it more than you like it. Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough. Cool. I mean, let anyone else feel free to let us know what you think. It seems to be quite divisive even within people that like Rob Zombie as a director. You know what I mean? It's people that have liked every one of his films religiously and really didn't like this, and people that have never liked his films and liked this, and everything in between. So I don't know. As I say, I like it. I don't love it, but I thought I was gonna really enjoy it, but yeah, that's all she wrote. Okay. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for joining us. Next episode we're going to be looking at David
Cronenberg's Trash.
Who stars in that? It's what's his
name? James Woods.
Spader.
James, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, James Spader. Yeah. So we're going to be looking at that film next time on episode 31. Hope you're looking forward to it. Yeah, I think that'll do us for today. See you next time.
It was a nightmare.